welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are two retired New York City police detectives with over 20 years of law enforcement each. If you like all things true crime related from that police perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. And tonight, as you can see, we have special guests, the Tieperman family. These are the folks who recorded the escape of Gonzalo Lopez and are residents of Leon County. They are living this nightmare with us, and they're sharing their time with us. I want to say thank you on behalf of Ed Wallace, Crime Time with DutyRon family, the whole community here. We want to thank you, the Tieperman family, for being so open and transparent with us and being a part of the family. So thank you, Robert, Melanie, and Braxton, for being here.
Welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So a lot has transpired here in the last 24 hours almost. At this time yesterday, we were kind of going about our daily show routine, but things were brewing behind the scenes. And Robert, you were communicating with us and you communicated with me. Melanie, you were also behind the scenes, giving us valid on-the-ground information about things that were going on. And I wanted to just bring you guys back on tonight because we're only going to be live for a short period of time. For the folks in the chat, Melanie and myself are going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern, that's 9 p.m. Central, on Banfield tonight. We're going to join her. We're going to talk about some of the failures that happened in Centerville, Leon County, and some of the things that were, not done the correct way here. A whole community was put in danger unnecessarily. And Ed, I know you and we've been speaking behind the scenes on this. I know you are livid about this. Ed, I know the Crime Time with DutyRon family, they want to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have some explaining to do. Let's just put it this way. We got 5 deaths, and those deaths are on somebody's hands because they sat on information and didn't alert the public about what they were finding and what they knew and the dangers that were posed to this community.
Yeah, 100%. So, the blood of those 5 innocent victims are on the hands of, in my eyes, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, first and foremost, and the Texas corrections officials who were responsible for taking and transporting a convicted murderer. And there's no sidestepping it. There's no sugarcoating it. Rob, Melanie, do you, can you add anything to that? I know you guys are frustrated. You're angry. Your emotions are running high today. You lost 5 members of your community, be it they come and use that as a weekend home. They're not permanent residents there, but they are part of your community. How are you guys feeling tonight?
Well, it's been a long day. It's been a very long day of started last night with hundreds of texts, today all day long, texting. And it's been, we were hoping that today would be kind of the end of a stressful day and things can go back to normal, but it's been far short of that. It's a horrible situation that multiple times could have been prevented with this family that was murdered. 4 kids, one just graduated from high school, and their parents, a grandfather, and I spoke briefly through messages today with the dad of the 3 kids, and I was thankful he was able to talk to me, but they're very, they're hurting bad, and it was mentioned that there's no way that his dad and their kids would have gone to that place if they would have known that there was proof that he was still in the area, and proof meaning that on Monday there was another house that was broke in that we didn't know about even till yesterday, and so they were able to take DNA out of that house to test that, and that was where the proof came back. And I believe we had heard yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, I believe it was around 2 o'clock, that, hey, and this is from a higher up in the TDCJ, that, cared about us out here because he watched us through the whole 3 weeks and kept track of us here. And he sent a message saying, hey, they're calling all of us back to Centerville and having a meeting this evening. There's been DNA came back positive. Just want to let you guys know, lock your doors and stay loaded because something's fixing to happen. And so,
and that was coming directly to you. That was not broadcast through an emergency broadcast system. It was not put out in the town crier. It was not put out by any public official on a mass level to all of the residents in Centerville, Leon. That's in Leon County, but in that Centerville area. Ed,
I can get not maybe broadcasting it over the news media or giving a press conference, but how about reverse 911 and start calling everybody in the community and saying, hey, this is what we found. It appears that this guy is still in your community. We have evidence, definitive evidence that he's broken into a house or two and he's still there.
This is what makes you mad as hell, and say to yourself, these are 5 senseless deaths that were easily avoided if you would have had the public officials, the people who are responsible for our safety. We're all civilians here now. Ed and I are retired. We're no longer law enforcement professionals, right? You have to now be responsible. That's the oath that they take, is to protect and serve. So when you have a screw up, hence Gonzalo Lopez being able to free himself like some kind of circus clown outside of a transport bus, you have responsibility to the community to let them know. And that's what's making this, it's magnifying it. It's making it, it's just amplifying this whole thing.
Yeah, just remember the last press conference. He said, that's it, right? No more press conference. They took down the checkpoints, okay? They opened up the community, right? And they started searching in other areas.
Yeah.
From that point on, he was thought to have been out of that community, right? Am I right, Robert?
yeah. They basically kind of, I think for 7 days, I think 7 or it might have been 9 days solid, they searched and searched and searched. And one day the roads would have half the guards on it. The next day, a certain roads, all the guards or more guards would be moved to that area. And you hear that, we hear that they are searching different areas, the dogs, the air. I believe I guess they searched real hard. And then on the 9th day was when you were talking about, Ed, where he was very frustrated, the Robert Hurst guy. And basically the last words I can remember, and probably everyone who watched him in Leon County, his last words were, I'm done. No more news conferences. And someone, I think one of the reporters asked, I think you're going to play it. I think one of the reporters asked something about, well, what do you have to say to the residents of Leon County? Can they go back? And I think either she or he said, yes, they can go back to normal life. And so,
yeah, it's exactly what he said. He said, she asked, can they go back to regular everyday life? And he said, yes. So it's 8 minutes. So I'm going to scroll through some of it. He argues with them in the beginning and says that his bosses are mad at him, that they're reporting on, false stuff, that, we didn't break down the search in the area. So I don't want to waste 8 valuable minutes. So I'm going to scroll through some of it, but let's just play it. I'll put it up on the screen. This is the last press conference from TDCJ, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And people always keep messaging me, Ron, what does that acronym mean? So I'm going to keep saying Texas Department of Criminal Justice. That's what that acronym stands for.
And basically, some people may not even know what that is, but that's the prison system. That's the prison system in Texas.
And that's why I said the corrections officials are ultimately responsible for Gonzalo Lopez and the screw up. Him being able to get out of a prison bus or a jail or prison, those are their responsibilities. They don't investigate crimes outside on the street. That's the sheriffs and local. But let's listen to this guy, because this is his last day. And I think it's important that people hear the false sense of security that he gave to everybody that listened to him. I'm going to try to move it forward because he's now arguing with everybody.
Are they listening to me?
I think she's.
Did you read the article?
Fielding text messages.
Okay, you ready?
Here we go.
Okay, I'm just going to read straight off of the news release, okay? Want to give your viewers an update here on the search for Gonzalo Lopez. We are entering a new expanded phase. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice, along with the Office of Inspector General and numerous law enforcement agencies, have concluded an exhaustive air search and ground search here in Leon County. We will keep a contingent of personnel here in Leon County conducting strategic searches of areas outside the original secured perimeter. We are not calling off the search. We will continue to keep personnel here in Leon County, but the search will now go into a new expanded phase. The renewed focus by the OIG, the Texas Rangers, and the U.S. Marshals is to leave no stone unturned as we continue to follow leads and track Lopez's whereabouts. We continue to urge the public that if they have any information about him, to please call 911 or call their nearest law enforcement agency or call the OIG Crime Stoppers number. Lopez, again, is described as 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, last seen wearing white clothing in a wooded area off of Highway 7. The $50,000 reward does remain in place, leading to information to his capture and conviction. I'm going to give you a quote here from the Attorney General's office. Excuse me, not the Attorney, I apologize, the Office of Inspector General. The Office of Inspector General Chris Love says anyone who has knowledge of Lopez's location should come forward. Those found to be helping or harboring him not only will face arrest and prosecution, but they are also putting themselves in danger. Lopez has a complete disregard for human life and will do what it takes to avoid capture. We will take this investigation wherever it leads us into Lopez's Leon County. This is a new agency looking for him. Folks from the Office of Inspector General, along with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, along with other law enforcement agencies looking for him in other areas besides Leon County. This is a new phase of the search. Again, I'm repeating, we are not calling off the search here in Leon County. It's just going into a new phase. As you see, the roadblock is now down. Highway 7 is back open to traffic going up and down, eastbound and westbound. That is the Department of Public Safety that made that call, along with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice and the Office of Inspector General. So, any questions?
How far out have you all expanded the search now? What areas now or communities are going to be affected right now?
Statewide. And as far as we can go to locate him and get him back into custody.
Highway 7 is now.
Get to their home and they feel unsafe. Get to one has not been in their home and going to their homes now.
So the entire
here it is.
around the perimeter.
None. And as far as we can go to locate him and get him back into custody.
Here we go.
The Highway 7 is now accessible. What other parts are still blocked off to the community so they know? None.
So the entire around the perimeter.
The perimeter is now open. The perimeter is now open. If anyone has been avoiding going to their homes now, I do want to stress this. If anyone has not been in their home during this time and they get to their area, get to their home and they feel unsafe or if they feel that there's something amiss, please contact law enforcement. Let them come out there and check the area for you before you go inside your home if you've been away this past few days while we've been here conducting our search.
What's the message for people just kind of outside this search area as this goes around the state? What's the message for people to keep an eye out for that?
The message is to please remain vigilant, keep an eye out for him. You've got the wanted poster that we sent out earlier this week with the pictures of him from when he was boarding the bus last Thursday a week ago. Please keep an eye out for him. If anybody's got any information about him, if they see somebody.
Just to clarify once more, the search is not over, but the perimeter is now open.
Correct.
We're getting a little bit of severe weather coming, and I know you said rain or.
The severe weather that's coming through, our personnel.
This could look like.
That's a good question. All I can go on is what the last photograph that we had of him from a week ago. It might take a little while for his hair to grow out. I don't think it would grow out. Engage this man yourself. here that they think might be him, please contact law enforcement. Don't engage this man yourself.
I guess homeowner residents, they can get back to their normal life.
Anybody that lives here in Leon County that's been impacted by this search, they should go ahead and consider that they can go back to their normal routine. But again, if they feel uncomfortable in anything on their property that they don't feel comfortable with, contact the local law enforcement, let them deal with it. That's what they're here for. Let me say this to those of you in the media. We appreciate very much your cooperation and your assistance in getting the word out to the public during this last week. Thank you very much. You've been very cooperative, very helpful, and we appreciate what you've done for us as well, getting the word out to the public. So thank you again for that. With that, I think we're done. Thank you very much. And again, yes, this is it. This is it. Okay. Thank you.
That was it.
You know, my dog is a great judge of character. Did you hear her barking?
Yeah.
She only started barking when he started opening his mouth.
So here was the takeaway from that, is that he basically said, if you're feeling uncomfortable and if there's something not right about your home, call us. But in this case here, so much time went by. That was 2 weeks ago, correct, Robin? Yeah. So that was 2 weeks ago without one peep after that statement. Okay. So if you tell somebody that, you can get back to normal, and in that same statement, he said, you can get back to normal, but if you see something, call the sheriffs, right? That's a standard cover CYA, right? Cover your ass.
Now, Rob, do you know if they searched this home?
Yeah, I remember in the first week they were down there searching that home and the home up further up from it too.
Did they leave any markers or indicators that the house and the premise was searched?
That I can't tell you on that, if they did or not. I'm not positive on that. The house kind of sits back where the woods are behind it, and then the pond and the pastures in front of it. And then back to the woods, they have a road that goes to a large building that looks like a shop building, and that's about 300 feet back, and then another 300 feet is another shop building. This is kind of between the woods, and there's a little light creek that kind of runs next through it. So I'm not sure if when I don't know how it works. I'm not sure when they searched, if they searched the house and the buildings and everything at one time, and then said, okay, we searched all that, and then they never went back through it.
Right.
They searched your house.
Can I tell you what I heard myself with my own 2 ears last night? Because I was up till almost 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. I heard the guy who kind of bumped him out and is now the talking head for Texas Department of Criminal Justice. He said that they searched that house 2, possibly 3 times.
Yeah, I heard that, but what does that mean?
Yeah, but that's coming from the Commissioner of Public Information. Mm-hmm. So what are we to believe? I would have to say, if they're putting that out, then that house was cleared 2, possibly 3 times, as per the Corrections Department. Yeah. And
they also said that the injured prison guard and the back guard ran 1.5 miles and up to the bus and engaged the suspect and fired shots at him.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't trust anything coming out of these people.
We did hear that the house next to it or behind it, we're not sure which house, that they feel he was at that house more kind of hanging out in and out, where they had found the DNA evidence and stuff on Monday and sent it in for testing and then got it back. My understanding is yesterday afternoon. So maybe he was going back and forth from one house to the other. Well, we don't know that.
What we do know, Rob, is that for 3 whole solid weeks from the day your wife and your son recorded him running across that field, for 3 solid weeks, Gonzalo Lopez resided in that general vicinity. No matter how you slice it, he was there.
Yeah, I think.
I just don't understand. They know for a fact that he was capable of doing that for 9 whole days before in another incident. So I mean, they know he's capable of doing these things, and they, I think they even made comment that he was hiding out in those creeks and creek beds and stuff. So they kind of knew even how his strategy worked. I don't understand how all of the manpower they had out here and technology, how they were still not capable of finding him or finding some evidence of him within even the amount of time that they were out here heavily. However many days was that? I don't even remember now. Was it 11? I don't even remember. What did we figure out? 9. So another 9 days.
Right.
But they're just going to up and give up
Right.
and pretty much open the barrier where if he is here, he's free to go wherever outside of Leon County. But I mean, I don't understand what evidence did they have that led them to make that decision?
Yeah, they're not being clear and transparent. That's obvious. They're not telling us everything. And the problem is that these homes are in such remote areas, right? And they're not stacked on top of each other. So is it possible that during the course of the concentrated efforts of searching that they did get to everyone's home? Ed was saying that you had your home searched, but I think that was a call that you made to one of your deputy buddies. Hey, my wife is scared. We're all scared. Could you go? And they crawled through. You described your
Well, he's a buddy of ours that called us saying, hey, he's been spotted behind your house. Are you home? And I'm like, no, but if it's possible he could be in my home, you better go search it now.
Right.
But because I don't think they were normally doing that. He just happened to be spotted, or supposedly spotted behind the house. But
well, they should have been doing it. They should have been going to all the houses.
I agree. They should have probably every door checked on. There's so many elderly that live out here. We have a neighbor, another direction that, he's just he's a war vet that sticks to himself, and he doesn't really talk to any of the neighbors or have hardly any family or anything. And I told Rob, I said, it's possible he could have raided that man's house and be in there with him, holding him hostage or killing him. And he doesn't have family and friends that he communicates with on a daily basis, so it would be important to go to every house within that perimeter and make sure every structure was clear.
Right. And that's initially. Now, once they found the break-in, they should, you have to err on the side of caution. You should just assume that it's this guy that did the break-in, but that would be later confirmed through DNA. Okay. Right. So at that point, once you find the break-in, you need to go start checking the homes again. Okay. And seeing if you can find forced entry into these other houses. Okay. Man, somebody dropped the ball big time here. Whether it was notifying you all in the community that, hey, this is what we found. This guy is still potentially out here. Be on alert.
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing. I know. I have a friend that's a yoga student that she works for TDCJ, and she told me, she said, Mel, we're 6,000 employees short. And I realize they're short staffed, and to be able to bring that amount, that many of their employees to help us here, and leave the prison and leave all these prisoners, a fourth unguarded or half unguarded, just to bring the staff here to do the search. Okay, if that's the case, why didn't they go out and beyond? Why didn't they think about reaching out to the government to ask for military help in some sort of a way?
The National Guard, they're trained to do this as well. Exactly. I mean, did anybody think, were they there? You didn't see the National Guard, did you?
No.
Okay. There's a thing in emergency response. It's called mutual aid agreements. Okay. So when you're 6,000 men in the hole, okay, you reach out to all your mutual aid agreement partners in law enforcement to come assist you. They should have reached out to the governor and said, can you get the Guard out here? I know the Guard is stretched thin because they're down on the border as well. All right. So they're working down there with the Texas Rangers and DP, so forth. But still, I mean, you could have got a reserve unit, or you could have got the Guard unit out there and doubled the manpower and assisted in the search.
Yeah. It's just utter insanity what went on with this whole thing from the beginning to the end. You know, it was just one fumble after another, one bit of misinformation after another, and for me, it's just I'm embarrassed by it as a law enforcement guy.
You know,
I look at it and I cringe. You know, I cringe.
I think the unfortunate thing here is the huge unfortunate thing that TDCJ has consistently, before he ever got on the bus, had problems with their system and everything. And then what's really bad now is that the whole thing since the day one that's happened, I feel, and I think it's true, I think TDCJ has been trying to keep things under cap and not let it out in public. And I think that's why they shut down the interviews with Hearst and the spokesman. And by doing that, it put all of people in Leon County, not us, just us, everybody, very vulnerable. But they cared more about them and who they are than the people in Leon County. Matter of fact, people in Texas, because they could let us know, hey, everybody, there is a house. We suspect it may be him. We got DNA going out. We should get the DNA back on Wednesday, Thursday. We will report to you immediately. Until then, lock your doors. Don't go until we hear back.
And if they said that to the residents, they would appreciate that more, because we could have averted 5 people being massacred, being slaughtered at the hands of this brutal, sick, evil monster. I want to play the sheriff from last night when they captured him. It's only about 2 minutes of playtime, but I want you guys to hear what this guy was doing. He was shooting an AR type weapon out the window of his car at responding police. And this is what our brave men and women of law enforcement do across the country. And I want to show this. I want to highlight this because they engaged this guy. And this was nowhere near, this was 4 hours away from Leon County. They got to be on the lookout, the BOLO. It was all transmitted throughout the state of Texas. And these guys set up spike strips. They blew out the tires. He crashed into a telephone pole and he came out guns blazing. So let's listen to what the sheriff had to say. I'll just play a couple of minutes of it.
1 minute warning, Ron.
I know. That's why I'm getting to it right now.
The Office of Inspector General of TDCJ about a escapee suspect and murder suspect, providing vehicle information on a vehicle that the suspect stole in Centerville, Texas today. We mobilized our officers to the highways. A short time later, we received additional information that the suspect was in San Antonio. So we deployed officers on all the highways, major highways. At a later time tonight, an investigator from Atascosa County spotted a pickup about 6 miles north of Poteet on Highway 16 southbound, confirmed the license plate number as the pickup truck stolen in Centerville. He followed it, and so he could get additional assistance. And he actually followed it to almost in here to Jourdanton, at which time Jourdanton Police Department spiked the vehicle, flattening all 4 tires. The vehicle turned on the spur up here and then went out into a field. It got back on Highway 16 and where officers were in pursuit of it, heading south. The suspect stuck a rifle out of the window of the truck and fired several shots. He turned on this street here, which is Cypress. He went down there and struck a telephone pole and bounced off of that telephone pole, went down the road a little bit further, crashed into another telephone pole and a fence. He exited his truck. He fired additional rounds. At least 4 officers returned fire at the suspect. There were several shots fired. No officers were injured, and the suspect is deceased.
End of story. There it is. Good job. Well done. I think Tieperman family and the whole rest of the folks in Leon County and across all of the towns within Leon County were breathing a sigh of relief last night. Isn't that correct, folks?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I would go as far as to say the whole state of Texas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ron, one last thing.
I would go one step further and say the entire entire United States and our international community.
Yeah.
They were all just elated. Go ahead, Ed.
Is it normal for the Inspector General of the Department of Criminal Justice to lead this? Is that normal? Because normally an Inspector General is what we would call here in New York internal affairs.
And that's they're investigating this as an internal affairs case. I heard some, and thank you for bringing that up, Ed. Somebody sent in a super chat and said, if anyone's found that they are helped Gonzalo Lopez, could they be charged with murder for the last 5 victims? Now that's something for an attorney. We are, again, we're in the law enforcement field. I'm not sure if they could pinpoint that on someone who helped to get him out of jail. They certainly could be any jail officials or anybody who helped facilitate his escape could be arrested and criminally charged. As far as charges for the murders of these 5 individuals, I'd have to look into that. I'm going to ask criminal defense attorney Joe Murray about that.
Yeah, see if there's an accessory charge.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that super chat, John Donahue, the $20 super chat. We greatly appreciate it. We have to get prepared for this. And I hated to do this a quick live, but Robert, Melanie, anything else that you want to get out there to the general public about how you all are feeling? I know our thoughts and prayers. I know that doesn't help anything with, what happened, the event, but our hearts and our prayers are, all of this community here stands with you. Our hearts bleed for your community. Anything that you want to get out there to the folks?
I think probably the biggest thing is Melanie's been on a lot of social media. A lot of people have been contacting her since day one, KBT, a lot of news channels. And, we've been with you a lot. We want to make sure that everybody knows it's not about us. It's about our community, where Melanie started in standing up for our community to help our community. And that's where we are. It's not about us at all. We do, and Melanie has done, and Braxton with the video, they did that out of their heart to help. Yeah. And it has nothing to do about us. It's about helping people.
Yeah. And that mantra of you see something, you say something, your wife saw clear and evident something wrong, really wrong going on and before her eyes. And she, as any good mother, and I'm sure if you were there, you would have done the same thing as dad, you would say, hey, let's get this on video. Let's record this. This is a guy escaping. We didn't know it was a 2-time, one murder and one attempted murder. But police officer, you didn't know who it was, but you knew that something was not right. So as a law-abiding citizen, you did what you had to do. And thank God you had your Glock with you and you were, you had your 40 cal with you. It's just a prime example that no matter where you are in America, no matter where you are in the world, crime knows no boundaries, and it could be right in front of your face at any given moment. And that's why you have to always be ready. So that's my parting words for everybody here tonight. I know you guys will eventually come back and, we're going to be here with you along the way with these funeral services and the things that go on. Maybe it'll happen back in their hometown. Maybe it won't happen in, Centerville, Leon County. But, we mourn with you guys, and we're going to be with you along the way. And I know, Ed, you feel the same way.
Amen.
Yeah. So we got to get ready. Look for us at 10 o'clock on News Nation, Banfield. I'm not sure exactly what the questioning will be, but I'm hoping to be right alongside of Melanie on the panel there. And we're going to discuss Gonzalo Lopez. We're going to try to discuss, some of the great things that citizens like Melanie and Braxton did in this case and how the residents of Leon County were slighted by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And I'm going to be loud and clear with Ashley Banfield. I'm mad as hell, and I'm sickened by it. So we're going to talk about that tonight. 10 o'clock. Look for us there. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
We appreciate everything.
Yeah.
Because Leon County and the community, we appreciate it.
Leon County, what a great place. And I got the invite to come on down and spend some time with you guys. And my wife and I would be honored to come down there and spend a weekend with you guys, or spend even a day. So, yeah, I look forward to that. Braxton, you're the best, kid. We all love you here on Crime Time with DutyRon. You're like an honorary sheriff. You're an honorary detective, as far as
he's honorary ranger.
Ranger.
That's right. One riot, one ranger.
Yeah. And any final words? I know you always got something to say.
Well, I say my usual. All right. Stay safe, stay prepared, and watch your six.
On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon in New York, Staten Island, and in Leon County, the Tieperman family, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. But especially these 5 innocent victims who fell to the hands of Gonzalo Lopez. We send their family strength, prayers, positive vibes, and our sole support. Good night, guys. God bless. See you soon.
Good night.